Welcome to the Elite Realty Group Podcast, where you receive the most up-to-date, relevant real estate information anywhere on the planet. Whether you're buying, selling, investing, or simply trying to understand today's real estate market, you're in the right place. And now, let's get you to the Elite Realty Group Podcast. If you're thinking about moving to Morristown, Tennessee, Zillow can show you bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, taxes, and maybe even give you a pretty good idea of what the house looks like. But Zillow cannot tell you what it actually feels like to live here. It can tell you which areas feel more rural. It can't tell you whether the 20-minute drive is easy or something you'll get tired of. It can't tell you what close to Cherokee Lake really means. It can't tell you whether you're about to buy more acreage than you actually want to maintain. And it definitely can't tell you which questions you should ask before you fall in love with the wrong property. So today, if you're considering moving to Morristown or anywhere in the Lakeway area, I want to give you the local perspective that a search portal simply cannot give you. By the time that this episode is over and you watch it all, you'll understand the major lifestyle, location, property, and practical differences buyers should think about before moving to Morristown, Tennessee, Hamblen County, or anywhere in the surrounding Lakeway area. My goal is not to sell you on Morristown. My goal is to help you decide whether Morristown, Tennessee, and which part of the area actually fits the life that you want. Welcome to the Elite Realty Group Podcast, ladies and gentlemen, where you receive the most up-to-date, relevant real estate information anywhere on the planet. I'm Mike Elkins, broker owner of Elite Realty Group here in Morristown, Tennessee. And if you're considering to move to this area, if that's something you're thinking about, that you spent some time online, maybe you've been looking at some listings, maybe you've been comparing prices in the area, maybe you've been studying the maps. Maybe you've even found a few homes that absolutely look perfect. This is a great place to start, but it's only a start because a house can look perfect online and still be wrong for the life that you actually want to live. That is why today I want to talk about the things that don't always show up in the listing photos, the local context, the lifestyle differences, the practical questions, the things you learn by actually living here, driving here, working here, and understanding the area. Let's start with something that surprises a lot of relocation buyers. Number one, Morristown, it's bigger than the city limits. One of the first things relocation buyers should understand is that when local people say Morristown, they may be talking about more than just the actual city limits. Your search may eventually include Morristown. Let's say Talbott, Russellville, Whitesburg, Jefferson City, Bean Station, Rutledge, Dandridge, the Lakeway area. All of these communities, they're around the Lakeway area. And so a buyer might say, well, I need to be in Morristown. But after talking through their actual needs, what they may really mean is, I want to be within 20 minutes of work. Or they may say, I want access to shopping and restaurants without living right in town. Or maybe they say, I want more land, but I want Morristown nearby. That is a very different search. Imagine somebody relocating from a larger city. They set to Zillow to Morristown and never look outside that boundary. They may miss a property in Talbott or another nearby community that actually gives them more of what they actually wanted. Search by lifestyle first, city name second. Here's number two. Drive time matters more than mileage, okay? This is something that online maps, they do not fully explain. 10 miles in one direction may feel very different from 10 miles in another. Road types matter. Traffic patterns matter. Where you work, it matters. Where your children, where they go to school, that matters. Where you shop for groceries, that matters. Where you attend church, all of these things matter. A house can look close on a map and still create a daily routine that you don't enjoy. If you're seriously considering a property, drive the route. Listen, morning, afternoons, maybe even evening. Do not just ask, well, how far is this away? Ask this question: what will my normal Tuesday look like if I live here? That, ladies and gentlemen, is a much better question. Here's number 3. Rural can mean very, very different things. So a relocation buyer might say, we want something rural. But rural could mean 5 minutes outside of Morristown, literally 25 minutes from town. Neighbors visible, but farther apart. 10 acres with nobody around. Maybe a larger subdivision that's got larger lots, a private road, a well, septic. Rural means a lot. It also means limited internet options sometimes. No sidewalks, longer emergency response time, or simply quieter than where you actually live now. The word rural, it sounds romantic. The lifestyle, it can be wonderful, but it needs to match what you exactly want. So don't buy the fantasy of rural living without understanding the routine of rural living. Here's number 4. Acreage sounds better than it mows. Trust me on this one, okay? People moving to East Tennessee, they often say, I want 5 acres at least. Why 5? Sometimes they don't know that it just simply sounds good. But at acreage, it has responsibilities that come with it. Mowing, maybe fencing, trees, driveways. How far are you going to have to take that driveway? Maybe potential equipment you need. Outbuildings, boundaries of the property, different types of terrains, ponds, lay of the land. Is all the acreage usable? 5 flat acres and 5 steep wooded acres, they're the same amount of land, but that's not the same property. So imagine a family leaving this small suburban lot and they dream about these 5 to 10 acres. Then 6 months later, they realize they've become part-time, maybe full-time groundskeepers. That does not mean the acreage is bad. It means the acreage needs to fit the buyer, and it didn't for that person. Do you want land or do you want privacy? Those are not always the same thing. Here's number 5, okay? This is a good one. Cherokee Lake, near, view, access, and waterfront, they're not the same. This is a major distinction throughout the Lakeway area. A buyer says, I want to live on Cherokee Lake. So does everybody else. So what does that mean? Do you want to see the lake? Do you want to be able to maybe walk to it? The community have access? Maybe you want your own waterfront. You want that dock for your boat. You want to just be able to launch your boat nearby or simply live 5 minutes from the water. That's available a lot of places here. But those searches are very different in both inventory and pricing. There can also be additional questions involving things such as shoreline characteristics, access, docks, water levels, property restrictions, and other due diligence you need to do. Define your lake lifestyle before you search for that lake house. Here's number 6. East Tennessee, the topography. It totally changes how the property feels. Online photographs flatten everything. East Tennessee does not. Look, we have hills, slopes, we've got ridges, mountain views, basements, steep driveways, different yard configurations. Lots are all different types and sizes. A photo may look the backyard may look enormous, but a lot of it may be on the hillside. That may be perfect for you. Who knows? Or maybe it's not. Do you want a view? Do you want the flat yard? Do you want privacy? Maybe you want the basement, but you want a walkout basement. Room for the children to play. Maybe you want to do the garden. Room for that RV that you have. Those things should influence your property search. Here's number 7. Internet and cell service It should be part of the house hunt. Everybody needs internet. This has become much bigger issue than it used to be. If you work remotely, run a business, stream constantly, homeschool, or simply depend heavily on technology, internet options can matter tremendously. Don't assume service at one property is identical to another property, maybe 5 to 10 minutes apart. And don't assume cell service either. If a property becomes serious, check the available providers. Ask the appropriate questions. Check with the people already living there. Test your phone. Think about how much connectivity matters to your household. Are you streaming all the time? The dream of working from a beautiful East Tennessee porch is considerably less romantic when the call freezes up every 30 seconds. Check on that. Here's number 8. Well, septic and utilities. This may be something new to you. Someone moving from an urban or suburban market may have never lived with a septic system, a private well, propane, a total private road that you got to take care of yourself. That don't mean these things are undesirable. Millions of people live with these every day. But you should understand what the property has and what ownership of that property involves. This is where good due diligence, it matters to you. Different does not mean bad. Different means you need different questions. Here's number 9. Don't buy the house before you understand the area. Here's something I would encourage every relocation buyer to do. Spend time here without looking at houses. Go eat, shop, just simply drive around. Go downtown, drive out around toward the lakes, visit all the surrounding communities in the Lakeway area. See what a Saturday feels like. See what an ordinary weekday feels like. Those are often a lot different. Go to some events, drive around after dark. You say, why do you do that? Because relocation buyers can become so focused on the property that they forget they're really buying a life. You're going to spend more time living outside the house than touring the house. Choose the community, then choose the property. Here's number 10. Don't try to recreate the place that you're actually leaving. This may be one of the biggest relocation mistakes I see people make. Someone says, we want to move to East Tennessee because we love the lifestyle. Then they immediately begins asking why everything is not exactly like the place that they left. Now, there's nothing wrong with wanting conveniences. We all want those. But part of the relocation is understanding and embracing the character of the place that you're actually moving to. Morristown is not Nashville. It's not Knoxville. It's not Atlanta. It's not Florida. It is Morristown. And Morristown, well, that's part of the appeal. The goal should not be, how do I make Morristown feel exactly like where I came from? The better question is, what makes this area, what makes it special? What does that mean to me? Here's number 11. The right house may not be where you expected it to be. I think relocation buyers, sometimes they begin with a checklist that's maybe too rigid. 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, 3 acres, no more than 10 minutes from town. Got to have a lake view. The yard's got to be perfectly flat, finished basement. It's got to be a brand new construction under a certain price point. Eventually, reality becomes negotiating with a wish list, and that's okay. A good real estate professional should not simply feed you houses. They should help you identify which priorities are truly non-negotiable and which one are preferences that you want. Sometimes the right home, it doesn't look like the home that you originally pictured, but it actually fits your life a whole lot better. Here's number 12. Local knowledge is not about knowing every answer to every question. I want to be careful with this because no real estate professional should pretend that we know everything. Local knowledge is not magic. It's context. Knowing the communities, knowing which questions are common with those rural properties, knowing when Lake property requires some extra investigation. Knowing that drive time matters, knowing when another professional needs to get involved with us on the transaction, knowing the difference between city, county, rural, unrestricted, restricted land. It's knowing what deserves another question. Here's number 13. You are 100% allowed to slow down. A lot of times relocation creates urgency. New job, moving truck, school calendar, you got a lease ending, house under contract somewhere else. You just feel so much urgency. Suddenly, every decision feels like it needs to happen immediately. And sometimes it does. But where possible, I would encourage people to create enough room to actually think. Do not let this excitement make decisions for you. And don't let the fear make them either. Don't let fear creep in and stop you. Give yourself permission to learn. That is what good guidance should actually help you do. Now, let's talk about from a broker perspective for a minute. From my position as a broker owner of Elite Realty Group, one of the things I want our agents to understand is that relocation clients need more than just access to listings. They need orientation. They need context. They need somebody willing to say, before we go see this house, let's talk about what you're actually trying to accomplish with this move. Because I don't think that the goal should be to convince somebody to move to Morristown. I think the goal should be helping people determine whether this community fits them. If it does, wonderful. We're glad to help. Let's get everything right. That creates better clients, better expectations, and hopefully better long-term outcomes for you. So if you're sitting somewhere, let's say in Florida, Ohio, Michigan, California, New York, or anywhere else, and Zillow is open on your phone right now, looking at Morristown, Tennessee homes, keep looking. It's a great tool. But remember, Zillow can show you the house. It cannot show you your life in the community. It can't tell you whether an extra 20 minutes matters to your family. It can't tell you whether you actually want that 10 acres until you see it. It cannot explain what lake living means to you. It can't tell you whether rural is peaceful or too rural for your lifestyle. It can't tell you what Tuesday morning commute feels like. And it can't decide whether Morristown, whether it feels like home. Those things require conversation. They require experience, questions, and sometimes just simply spending time here. I'm Mike Elkins, broker owner of Elite Realty Group here in Morristown, Tennessee. This is the Elite Realty Group Podcast, where you receive the most up-to-date, relevant real estate information anywhere on the planet. And if you're thinking about moving to Morristown or the Lakeway area, I want you to put one thing in your comment. What is the number one thing you want to know about living here? Not necessarily about buying a house. I'm talking about living here. Tell me, because I may turn your question into one of our next videos. You guys have a wonderful day. Thanks for listening. Make sure you're subscribed. Share the video out with everyone you know. You guys be safe, be blessed. I'll catch you on one of our upcoming episodes. Thanks for listening to the Elite Realty Group Podcast. If you've enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode, and share the podcast with someone who could benefit from the information. We appreciate you being part of our audience. Until next time, this has been the Elite Realty Group Podcast.